Hello, welcome to CKE 10,001's gaming channel. In this video, we'll be looking at my Slime Ifrit Weiss Schwarz deck build. It's more of a meme deck. I run 18 level 0s, 8 level 1s, 10 level 2s, 6 level 3s, and 8 climax cards. So the main purpose of this deck is to get Ifrit out as early as you can. So that's your main card. Remember, it's just for fun. It's not a competitive tournament deck. This is just for the memes, since you can call the Ifrit out at level 0 if you have the right setup of cards. So yeah, and you can either keep that Ifrit to keep attacking, or you can pay its cost to do its extra deal at 4 damage to your opponent. So the first card we're going to take a look at is Rimuru Tempest. I run 3 copies. It has 2 effects. The first is when this card is placed on stage from your hand, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a demon content character, you can put that card in your hand and choose a card in your hand and put it in your waiting room. The second effect is when the card is placed on stage from your hand, you can discard a climax. If you do, you can choose a demon content character in your waiting room and return it to your hand. So this is ideally acting as a double filter outlet card and discard outlet to help set up your waiting room with the Ifrits and level 1s to change. Yep. And then I'm running 3 copies of Swordsmith Kurobe. It has 2 effects. The first is when this card is placed on stage from your hand, you can look at the top 2 cards of your deck and put them back on top of your deck in any order. The second is when a climax is placed in your climax area, you can return this card to your hand. If you do, choose one of your characters, and that character gets +1 soul until the end of turn. Essentially, you're running 8 standby, so you need to keep the soul pressure with this card. And then I'm running 4 copies of This Belongs to Me Shion. It has 2 effects, but ideally it's more the milling effects again. First is when this card is placed on stage from hand, you can put the top 2 cards of your deck into your waiting room. If there's a climax among those cards, choose one of your characters, and that character plus 15 power until end of turn. The second effect is when this card is placed on stage from your hand, choose one of your characters, demon con characters, and that character is plus 15 power until end of turn. So this helps you get power lanes to get kills, and mostly used for the milling effect. Then I'm running 4 copies of Destroyer Millum. It has 2 effects. The first is continuous during your turn. If you have another demon content character, this card gets plus 3k power. And the second effect is when this card attacks, you can pay 1 stock. If you do, perform 2 trigger checks during the trigger step. So you essentially double trigger check to help more chances of triggering a standby climax. Then I'm running 4 copies of Cool and Collected Sohei. It has 2 effects. The first is when this card is placed on stage from your hand, you can reveal the top card of your deck. If you do, you discard a card. Then choose 1 level extra lower character in your waiting room, return it to your hand. X equals to the level of the card revealed. And the second effect is Shift, but I don't really use Shift at level 0 for this deck. Then I'm running 4 copies of Ifrit's Manifestation Shizu. It has 2 effects. The first is when this card is placed on stage from your hand, put the 2 cards from the top of your deck into your waiting room. If there's a climax amongst those cards, you may put up to 1 card from the top of your opponent's deck into his or her waiting room. If you do, choose 1 card in your opponent's waiting room and put it back on top of his or her deck. The second effect is auto change. At the beginning of the climax phase, you can pay 1 stock, put 2 demon conquerors from your hand into your room, return this card back to your hand, and change into the Ifrit from your waiting room. And then I'm running 4 copies of Swept Along Rimuru. It has 2 effects. The first is a downside. Continuous, this card cannot side attack. The second effect is auto climax combo. When this card attacks, if a historical moment is in your climax area and you have another demon conqueror, you can trigger check twice during the trigger step. Then I'm running 2 copies of this Benimaru card. The first effect is continuous. If you have 2 or more other demon content characters, this card gets plus 3,000 power, continuous. And the second effect is auto encore, hand encore. Then I'm running 4 copies of the main card, the Ifrit card. It has 1 auto effect. When this card attacks, you may pay the cost, which is pay 2, pitch 2 demon characters from your hand into your waiting room, choose a card in your clock and put it into your level. If you pay that cost, you can deal 4 damage to your opponent 3 times. So yeah, it's just a kind of a go big card. Then I'm running 4 copies of Basking in the Sunset Geld. It has 2 effects. The first is this card gets plus 1,000 power for each of your other demon content characters in your backstage. The second effect is when your other demon content character is frontal attacked, you may put this card into your waiting room. If you do, choose one of your characters in battle and that character plus 4,000 power. Then I'm running 4 copies of Benimaru Breaking the Enemy's Forces as 2 effects. The first is continuous, all your other demon content characters get plus 15 power. The second effect is when the card's battle pump goes reversed, you can pay 2 stock. If you do, deal 1 damage to your opponent. So a very aggressive lineup of cards in this deck build. And then I'm running 2 copies of I Can't Hear You Rimuru. It has 2 effects. The first is continuous. This card gets plus 500 power for each of your other demon content characters. And then the second effect is auto. When this card attacks, choose up to 1 card in your opponent's waiting room and put it on top or bottom of their deck. Then the last 8 cards are the climax cards. 4 of a historical moment standby climax for the low end combo, and 4 new power, which is also a standby climax, which is just a blink climax trigger, no combo for the deck. Now, in the next part of the video, I'll just show you kind of an ideal setup of what can go down at level 0. So ideally, to play this deck, you would need 2 specific cards in your waiting room. You need the Shizu and the Ifrit in your waiting room, so you can stand by into the Shizu and change into the Ifrit. That's why there's a lot of those zeros that help mill and set up the waiting room, like the Sohei or the Shion that also mills 2 from top of deck. Yeah, they're blind mills, but you can kind of increase the chances of a specific card being milled by using this the Kurobe card to help fix the top of your deck if needed. But ideally, more milling to the waiting room, the better, because you'll get higher chances of getting the Shizu or Ifrit into the waiting room. And we also have the trial deck Rimuru to help mill, and if we get the incorrect card or the cards in our hand, we can use it as a discard outlet to set up our waiting room. Yeah. All right. So yeah, thanks for watching. Please subscribe and check EncoreDecks.com in the link in the description below to see an overview of this deck build.